It's great to have you on today. I want to start with how usual or unusual is it to see a probe such as this opened up into SVB, given the fact that we saw this cataclysmic failure play out so quickly, and then, of course, reports that senior executives had sold stock, albeit maybe pre-planned, but sold stock as this was unfolding.
Well, Morgan, it's good to be with you, and let me answer very quickly your question. It's not unusual at all. But let's take a step back and talk about where we are. And I put this into 4 buckets at the moment. The first is something you mentioned, which is inquiries by the SEC. You mentioned criminal authorities and the like about what happened here and whether there is culpability. That should happen. It will happen over time. The people who do that, they do a good job at it. The second bucket is an assessment of regulatory oversight, and in particular, supervision, whether the supervision here was appropriate, and whether the regulations that are in place are appropriate for the markets of today. That, of course, should happen and should be rigorous. The third bucket is politics. And I want to applaud people from both sides of the aisle who came out in bipartisan support of the swift action taken by the Federal Reserve, the FDIC, and the Treasury. I, for one, believe that this action was absolutely necessary, and we only had hours to wait before we gave confidence back to depositors across our regional banking system. I applaud them, and it was great to see the bipartisan support. What we don't need are quick political sound bites around my first 2 buckets. Those things will come out over time, and we should do a sober assessment, in particular of regulation and supervision. And Morgan, let me just go to my last bucket, which is what do we do today about where our markets are? And I think what we've had over the last 72, 96 hours, however you want to put it, is a bit of a lesson in behavioral economics. Behavioral economics is ruling the day at the moment. We had a classic bank run starting. We stopped it. Today, we had behavior from counterparties to Credit Suisse. We've had the Swiss National Bank take action. What we need to be looking at is what is happening in terms of people making significant de-risking or dash-to-cash type moves that are destabilizing, and how do we address those? And that's the thing where we should be focusing our regulatory energy of the moment, because continued stability is what we need above all those other things at the time.